back. We are live on a bunch of streaming services, EBSN. Again, Doug Worthington podcast, either the pup or we doing this Buckeyes and Barbells. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit damaged. The whole vision of this was a bunch of working out, bunch of lifting, a bunch of things that I'm good at, that I love. And we're going to get back to the regular schedule program. Again, Doug Worthington. I'm live on the IG. I am on the Facebook Live. I'm on EBSN. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. First, man, we missed a week. We were all kind of this under the weather, and we were playing the Green Thunder, the Green whatever. We handled business as far as the Buckeyes, so I'm excited to come back in a week like this. This is Penn State week for me. It was by far one of the hardest games, the hardest weeks to prepare for. Playing against a team in the Big Ten East. Back in my day, we didn't have the East and the West and things of that nature. We always knew that we were always competing for a Big Ten championship against Penn State. So I'm excited for it, man. I got a lot of familiar people on that other side of the ball. We're going to have my guy Chuck Gresham call in a little bit later on, a guy who was a strength staff. He was a trainer for The Ohio State University. Antonio is his son. He actually is a 55 for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And, man, we just have so much to talk about as far as that aspect of what it means to be in Happy Valley, what it means to play a Big Ten foe on the road, and how things is coming. So I'm pumped for it, man. I'm excited. I got my guy Jay over there working the boards for me, man. I couldn't do it without you. How's the week been for you, boss? How's things going your way? He got to get the mic. There we go. The mic. We early. It's early. It's 10 o'clock.
Things are going well so far.
There we go.
Yeah, ready for Penn State and Happy Valley. What's that scene like walking into that stadium? Is that one of the most? Is it Camp Randall or that one that's the most intimidating?
By far, I mean, again, it's nothing like playing in the shoe. It's different for me being on defense, playing on the shoe. By a wave of a hand, we got 104,000 going nuts. But when it comes down to being into another territory, Happy Valley has to take the cake. I mean, it's 107,000 people. And I said it, 107,000 screaming fans. The difference between those guys and us, we have a bunch of alumni. Our games, we make more money per game. But when it comes down to actually being in that atmosphere, it's nothing like a whiteout, 7:30, 8 o'clock, whenever time is played. It is unbelievable. So I'm excited for it. Coming into that game, obviously we got Dwayne Haskins. Everybody's kind of like, you know what, hey, this guy has been tested at TCU. He's been on the road. Negative. When it comes down to playing this Big Ten foe, when it comes down to actually playing in this environment, this is going to be by far the biggest test for the Ohio State Buckeyes this season. I'm excited to see what they have. It's one of those atmospheres that if you don't jump on these guys early, if you don't get some success, you're going to feed not only the team, but you're going to feed the crowd. James Franklin, I mean, I can't say enough about the guy. As soon as he took off the program, had some struggles. Everybody has growing pains besides our coach, Urban Meyer. But James Franklin came into this program after all that paternal incidents, after a coach for the Houston is going and just leaving and things of that nature, and turned around the full culture, put names on their back for a season, took them off, gave the representation of how Penn State rolls, that the team is bigger than an individual, and they believe in them. They've been working their tail off when it comes down to the season. And they're undefeated. Coming into this type of atmosphere for the Buckeyes, we obviously, have the weapons. When it comes down to depth, there's only one team in America that can kind of deal with what we're kind of present that we're about to kind of bring when it comes down to depth and 5 stars. And then when it comes down to in the Big Ten, Penn State is a close second as far as having the depth, having those people, having that type of environment. So I'm excited to see what these guys got, man. These guys are going to be into one of those systems that is it's either going to make or break you. One of those games for me playing down there, I remember 2007 with Todd Beckman. Ray Smalls had a big game. Boom, who's going to be calling in later on today. Those guys kind of set the tone. A great defense starts with a great offense. So when it comes down to missing a Bosa, when it comes down to having some troubles at the linebacker core or safeties and things of that nature that we don't know is going to happen, it can all be nullified by having Haskins have good drive. J.K. Dobbins, I know he's a little bit healthier than Weber, feeding him as much as he needs to. That's my question in this game. Are we going to be able to have and control that line of scrimmage? I think if we win that, if we have that type of capability, then the game is going to kind of root for itself, and we're going to have just all types of just openings and holes when it comes down to the passing game. Do we got Chuck on?
You got Chuck.
Chuck, man, what's going on, my brother?
How you doing, my brother? What's going on?
Hey, man, blessed and highly favored. Me and Chuck came. What time we get up? This is about 5:30. We was at the home gym down the street, D1, 8080 North High Street. He's the head trainer there. He's my brother. He used to be my strength staff coach my senior year. Chuck Gresham, man. I just want to say, Chuck, what is it like, again, Antonio Shelton, number 5'5", being your son, you going to all these tailgates, being in an environment, being a Nittany Lion for the last few years, coming from a Buckeye, obviously a Youngstown State Penguin. We played against each other. Yeah, Youngstown in the building. We played against each other in college, and then he got to train me my last year, and he's been training me ever since. But, hey, I called you to figure out what is it like being on the other side. What is it like being in Happy Valley, being on the tailgates and that atmosphere? What does it do for you?
Man, I must say it's a great experience. The people down there are very open, very
Awesome.
interested in football, and they're just there to have a good time. I mean, as you know, Happy Valley, there's really nothing else there but
Right.
the college. So, it's a hometown team favor. They're not nasty people. They're great people. They invite you in. They want a great game. And just the experience inside the stadium is almost like none other, man. I can't even tell you the goosebumps I get every time we have a night game.
No, that's huge. Goosebumps, night game. I seen some of the playback. Night game in Happy Valley, 107,000. So tell me, leading up to the game for the viewers and the people that know, what is a whole tailgate experience? Me and you, we tailgated. We got together last year when my Buckeyes pulled it out against Saquon and those guys. I actually came to you invited me to the Friday night just visiting section. You guys had a bunch of stuff for the team. Kat is the team mom. What is that like when it comes down to the dynamic of being so involved with the community at Penn State, then being in the Columbus community? I mean, obviously we have a rivalry, but what does it mean to you, like on an everyday, like during this week?
I mean, of course, I get a lot of flack because I'm a Penn State parent, and I was a Buckeye at one point in time, being on the strength staff there, and I bleed it red, but it's a little different when you got a son on the team who you're rooting for, who you put a lot of time and effort into, and you see his struggles and you see his gains and you see him grow and maturate as a young man. And as he goes and gets bigger and better, you got to root for the home team at that point in time. It's not like I don't have any Ohio State favor to him. Trust me, I got 3 kids that are on the team right now: Liam McCullum, Devon Hamilton, and Marcus Williamson. Those are kids that I've trained in the past couple of years and grew up with those kids. But, when it comes down to my son, enjoying his chance to go out there and do things that nobody else has had the chance to do, I got to roll with it,
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Next 4 years or the last 3 years we have, I'm going to bleed blue because my son is a part of that. My son is a part of that side.
That's huge.
And going to the games and seeing different people and being able to, congregate with people from other different sides like the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. It's a very big family, man, and it's not just about, football. It's about holding those bonds and those trusts and those character athletes together for a scholarly but yet justified football nature, and we met some good people. The atmosphere, the tailgates have been wonderful. I've never seen that before. Coming from being a football player, you don't get to see halftime shows. You don't get to see tailgate. You don't know what that's like.
Totally different world outside that stadium.
You know what I mean? So that's amazing for us, and we've never had a chance to really see that until now. But the people are great people, man, and just seeing my son grow up in this system of great coaching and great football and being able to be at such a high point makes me feel really good. And that's why I enjoy every game.
Man, well said, man. Well spoken. Coming from my guy, Chuck Gresham, D1 trainer extraordinary, the guy that's getting me back fit, getting me back training. Chuck, man, let's just talk about a little bit outside the field, outside of this week of football. You helped me with a lot of my philanthropy endeavors. You got Chuck's kids. We done a lot of things for all the seasons. It's coming up for as Thanksgiving and Christmas. What can we expect from you, Chuck's kids, D1 Sports, and this upcoming season when it comes down to the giving back and just the philanthropy thing as a whole?
This year, we want to keep doing the things we've done in the past, like the Christmas dinners to 10 needy families. We're going to do Toys for Tots this year.
Awesome.
And also in the off season for underprivileged youth, we're trying to do a bus tour this summer, kind of like Ted Ginn's bus tour. I want to take some of the top kids in the city who have good grades, who are responsible young men with great character on the road to a couple of colleges, so that they can see what's outside of Ohio and 270 and be able to get their name out there among the USA.
That's huge.
And be able to pay for these kids and have a good time and let them see some different states and some different things and get their name out there.
All about exposure pieces, man. You've been doing it through and throughout. I know when I first met you, man, it's the energy. We talked about, obviously, beating you guys up as far as YSU. But, beginning of the year, Penn State, and I know you were at the game, playing against like an Appalachian State. Everybody don't understand that, these kids are on scholarship too. These kids are having an opportunity to play in the atmosphere like Penn State, and they're always giving their best shot. In your opinion, coming from that YSU, understanding that Penn State at home might be a little bit of an underdog, what do you think is going to have to happen for Penn State to actually have a shot to beat the Buckeyes at home?
Well, for those who don't know who Appalachian State is outside of the Michigan game 10 years ago, Youngstown State played Appalachian State when I was at Youngstown State, and they beat the stuff out of us.
Dang, yeah.
Armani Edwards had 5 running touchdowns. I mean, this team has been good for a very long time, and people don't understand that.
Right.
In their league, they dominate. They're not anything to sleep on. That team had heart. They took their shot, and they played well together, and they're a very good team. If anybody watches them outside of that first game this year and follows them, they're going to see them do some very successful things. As far as the game goes, I know we're going to put up a very competitive effort. I know we're going to put up as much as we possibly can and let the kids do what they can amongst our great coaching staff, and just allow them to be with it, play within themselves. Don't get outside the box, but do the things that we do very well and execute when we need to execute. Play field position, do those type of things, and do those things very well that we do when we have great games, And seeing that was the first game, if you look at every game after that, you can see the points that we've put up.
No, definitely.
It's kind of crazy.
Definitely. I agree with you 110%. Looking at the film that I did this week, when it comes down to watching that Appalachian State game, I mean, you wouldn't tell that they were maybe not, a Power 5 conference. But I always like to, understand like what the coaching staff has to do with the program. A lot of times you see those kids, man, they're 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old young men. But, to be a great team, to have, success in any type of endeavor, you got to have leadership. And I know you've been around the program even before Shelton got there, with all the kids that you've been impacting and kind of getting them in D1 and other programs. What do you think about James Franklin and what he brings to the table as far as a head coach? What is the dynamics that you like about him, and why has he had that success at Penn State?
Well, Coach Franklin is a great guy, number one. That was one thing that we saw when we were on our recruiting visit. I mean, he's just a genuine person. He cares about the family dynamic, who's outside the kid, who's the mom, who's the dad, who's the little brother, who's the little sister. I mean, he knows my daughter's name without even having to think about it. He knows hundreds and thousands of people. He can talk to people left and right, but he's the same person that's going to shake your hand when he sees you in the first recruiting and hug you when he's coming down the line as the kids come through. He has a very good character building atmosphere. He's very Tressel-like in my ways. We had the winner's manual at Youngstown State. You had the winner's manual at Ohio State. He's very big in that type of dynamic. He's not Tressel. He's his own brand of Tressel, if I could say in my own opinion. And he's very forward-thinking and trying to put the kids in successful positions.
Dope, man. I definitely appreciate the perspective, man. We are daddy-daughter gang, man. Where's baby girl gonna be this weekend when you and the lady go down to this big showdown?
We got an in-house babysitter, somebody, a friend of the family that takes care. you know, so she can run around in her Penn State cheerleading outfit and kick it.
All right, that's a blessing. Hey, to wrap it up, man, give me your prediction. What is the score going to be like? I need some opposition. I want to say, in your heart of hearts, you can be real. You can be transparent. You got a lot of relationship with Buckeyes. You got 3 of the guys on the team. Obviously, your son, the blood runs deep. I understand that aspect of it. But give me your final score and final thoughts for this Penn State versus Ohio State game this Saturday.
Well, I really feel like we got a high-firing offenses on both sides. I feel like both defenses are great up front, and I feel like, you know, there's a lot of young guys playing on both sides. I feel like it's going to be hard to stop these high-pertinent offense on both sides. But I feel like whoever can come out in that second half and really make a big difference is going to be number one. I mean, I see myself going with Penn State. I think the score is going to be 42-35. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be 1 touchdown.
There you go. So that's a lot of scores. That's a lot of points for 2 good defense. Hey, Chuck, man, I definitely appreciate you giving me the opportunity just to talk to you. I love you. You and my brother. D1 extraordinary, greatest trainer in there by far. A brother of mine, a confidant, a mentor, and all those things above. So, again, Chuck, I appreciate you getting on the horn, man, blessing us with the knowledge and your expertise as far as this game and the outside looking of what it looks like to be a dad and things of that nature when it comes down to taking care of your kid and your responsibility. So, blessings to you, King. I love you, and we'll definitely talk soon, man. Safe travels down to Happy Valley.
Yes, thank you again, sir.
Appreciate you, my brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Go Bucks. He said go Bucks. I like it. Hey, man, so hey, my guy Chuck, man, a great perspective when it comes down to the Penn State. He says he got the 42-35 as far as the game. I'm going to give my thoughts on that later on. Hey, Jay, what you thinking about far as, you know, just the outlook of what that Happy Valley environment? Have you ever went down there? Have you ever experienced that type of crowd?
No, I've never been down to Happy Valley, but you know, I've heard all the horror stories of walking in and guys wearing their hats out of that locker room onto the field to make sure they don't get hit by whatever they're throwing down.
Man, so let me paint that picture. So first of all, like, we're down. We got to travel down. Nittany Lion is because they literally have some cougars just kind of purveying the area and things of that nature.
That stupid roar.
A different type of dynamic, man. It's a full college town. It has like one Walmart, one diner. There you go in the back. It is loud. It is crazy. But far as being on the other side of all of that, you're literally coming out to like 40,000 fans that's just right by a locker room, and it is nothing it's nothing that I can kind of portray on words, but you literally like he said, you got to make sure you have your helmet on. People will throw stuff at you. They're calling you every name under the sun. If you don't understand the atmosphere beforehand, they paint a good picture of it. But for the most part, being live and having those just different grown men and even women and little kids talk to you any type of way, if you're not mentally tough, you're going to definitely be thinking about it. You're going to be caught off guard. You're going to be a little bit upset. So I'm very excited to see my Buckeyes go in that environment, see how they come out, see what Haskins have about them, see the gumption, see what it means to be an Ohio State Buckeye. So, yeah, true and true. Never been in that environment. What was the best area that you was at, Jay, when it comes down to this a crazy football environment?
Oh, wow. You know what? Honestly, I love high school environments as far as football. You know, some of the big games in high school, I mean, we talk about amateur athletics and college sports being amateur athletics, and it's kind of a guise. It's not really amateur athletics. High school football really is amateur athletics, 100%. And it's such a cool, different vibe. But as far as college goes, Ohio Stadium is tough to beat as far as an experience.
For sure.
You know, to me, just visually seeing Camp Randall and Happy Valley, those are the 2 big places. I would imagine the fans have done a little research on the Zach Smith thing, and we're going to have to hear a little bit about that.
Oh, they're going to have some. Yeah, they're going to have some bulletin board material.
Well, they lived it. Don't forget. So they know all about how to take and give it. So that'll be interesting for the players to have to handle too.
When I came out of high school, Penn State was actually right there when it comes down to recruiting. I was blessed to have Joe Paterno actually visit my high school, which was something that I still live on me forever. Rest in peace to a legend. But when they, Maurice Claret, when he was having his scandal, and there was actually just a blowover of some of the more things that they found. I remember a guy named McCarthy. You remember the guy? I think his name was McCarthy. He had a red head. He was actually in that crazy movie that they made. He was like one of the top recruiters, and I think he had tight ends or things. It was one of those eerie.
Matt McCloin?
Was it McCloin? Redhead?
Yeah, that's Matt McCloin.
When it comes down to the whole aspect of it, I remember vividly taking phone calls from these men. And I mean, you got, these days it was regulated a lot more. But every time they voiced their opinion to me about recruiting me and getting me down to Happy Valley, they were throwing so much shade to Ohio State. That's one of the things that kind of just shunned me away. When you have so much to say about another program more than your own, and then, the closet is open and things come out, and that was just a very horrific situation I don't want to care to talk about. But again, it goes back to the Zach Smith situation. It goes back to our guy, Urban Meyer, his first road game, really the Ohio State first real true road test. So those guys are going to really – this right here is going to be the nail in the casket. When Urban goes here and they have success, they need to have success. If they go in there and lay an egg, is just losing for Ohio State. Because nobody in the country, I don't know what the stats is like. I don't know what the exact numbers is as far as the spread. But Ohio State is favored. I think maybe, about 3.5-4 points? They're favored. So with that being said, knowing that, hey, this opportunity lies – every game for the Buckeyes is a playoff game. You're talking about a Big East opponent, Big Ten, Big East opponent that is playing for not only bragging rights, but a spot in Indianapolis and a spot possibly in a college football playoffs. Everything is lying down on this thing. So I hope really Urban has a little bit more for these guys because they're going into a hostile environment. And obviously he put them a little bit more in hot water when it comes down to this offseason. So, hey, it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. We're about to get Boom on the phones probably a little bit sooner than later. But the whole culture, right, entire culture of sports right now, it is in a great place, in my opinion. And when I say great, you're seeing different things happen not only on the field but off the field. We just had Eric Reed, the guy with Kaepernick. First of all, everybody's seen the new Kaepernick commercials. I'm with Cap. Everybody thought Nike might have been taking a bad choice, but their stock has risen. The products is still flying off the shelf. And then when it comes down to a guy who just won this weekend, and I really feel it's an entire organization because I don't know if you know, but the owner of the Panthers was very outspoken when it comes down to the politics and how it shouldn't be in the game. But obviously, it's one of those things that is taking a life of itself.
Yeah, they just signed Eric Reed.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Right. So Cap, and then his right-hand man, the first guy that actually took a knee with him, is actually getting the opportunity, the blessings to be able to play NFL ball again. I'm very, very happy for that organization as a whole. We got a couple Buckeyes on that team. And, hey, it's just a testament to if you believe in something. It's something that you're really, really, feeling your heart is your gumption, something that you want to do. Even this podcast for me, this has been making of the years. And my favorite quote for it is if it's worth doing, it's first worth doing badly. So, hey, if it's something that you want to do, it's something that's going on in life, I say go after it, man. Just attack it full on and just make it happen. We also got the Browns win. I mean, 635 days? And having a Thursday game, it being a Thursday game was a blessing because not only did they have the whole weekend to gloat. I want you to talk about this Browns. Not only did they have a whole weekend to gloat, but, I mean, they've been riding a wave, and then they're playing against Oakland Raiders team that is 0-4. They're favored in the game for the first time in years. What's your thought about them Cleveland Browns up the road?
They were actually favored last week on Thursday Night Football for the first time against the Jets. Yeah, at home. So
back-to-back
and they
favorites.
covered. Yeah, undefeated against the spread.
That is huge. That is huge.
1-1. I mean, you can't complain as a Browns fan. I mean, It was 635 days in between wins, and we're not in last place. So, as a Browns fan, in all the losing that goes on, at some point there's a little apathy that happens.
Right.
It's like, oh, here we go again, same old Browns, same old Browns.
Yeah. You identify with it.
Yep. You start losing the total investment you have as a fan, you know, and it just kind of starts seeping out. But when Baker came in, it was a different energy. You know, they try to say the it factor,
the crowd,
that you can't quantify.
Right.
Well, the difference between Tyrod Taylor and Baker Mayfield and the energy difference you saw on both sides of the football, that's the it factor.
That is the it factor.
That's the it. And
that's
so
the it factor.
To me, that was great
sometimes,
to see.
And sometimes, especially in college and high school, it's coaching. But like you said, Baker coming in there, and there's grown men getting paid millions of dollars. It's grown men that this is their livelihoods. But when you have a stigma, when you have that Browns, when you have 600 some odd days, it is amazing. But again, man, shout out to Cleveland. Shout out to Eric Reed and those Panthers. We're going to get into a little bit more of some Buckeye talk. I got my brother on the line. I got Boom Heron. Boom, man, what's going on, man? Thanks for having you. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you greatly. How's it going, boss?
Big Doug, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on the show, brother. What's
Always,
going on?
man. That's the least that I can do. You're actually doing me a favor. Don't act like you are. You aren't. I appreciate you, man. Played with you for 3 years, man. It's a blessing to be on the same team, on the same field. A great character guy, a guy that when I tell you will stick his head, his neck on the line for you. I mean that literally. So, hey, Boom, man. What do you think about, not only this week, but just the first few games for the Buckeyes? We haven't really talked about it too much. What is this season to you? What does it mean, and how's it going in your thoughts?
Oh man, I think it's great, man. We've played well. Obviously, everybody's excited about Haskins having a great quarterback. Don't take nothing from JT. He was a great quarterback, but man, I think Haskins just he brings a different vibe, a different swag to the team that we can get a deep ball down the field, instead of a lot of times when JT was around, we were doing a lot of crossing routes and maybe hitting a hitch here or hitting a screen here and there. But now that we got a guy that can get it down the field, throw the deep ball, score something. I mean, we got some great receivers that can go out there and get it, man. So, and then you got the great running backs, man. We got 2 good running backs. We are known for that at Ohio State as
known for it,
having some great running backs. And I think those 2 guys have done a great job at that.
I mean, I love the fact that you said they're known for it. I mean, playing with you and then having like Brandon Sane, having Beanie, and then having we always Pittman. We always had a couple stables in the backfield, kind of been known for it. So that I mean, obviously that makes all the sense in the world. Haskins, like you said, I mean, just last week to have 5 touchdowns in the game is amazing. To have it in a half is unheard of. So again, I'm all about the defense. I had to get you on here for the different perspective as far as offense, but being able to have a good defense, it all lies into the offensive aspect of things. Playing in Penn State, man, we're at Happy Valley. We had some great showings in Happy Valley, Boom. What tell the fans, tell the viewers, what is it like coming from, different type of environments, coming from the shoe and having to go down to Happy Valley and just play against that foe in Beaver Stadium?
Man, I tell you what, man, I love playing in Ohio State in the shoe, but I always love going to other people's stadiums, especially a team like Penn State.
Right.
History. We've always had to battle with those guys, man. They've always had a great team, and it's been fun to go down there and play them, especially when they had a whiteout, man. It's just one of those special teams, one of those special games.
What?
To play in,
real, 100%.
It's just a fun game, and it's gonna be exciting, man. I mean, both teams are undefeated. It's gonna be fun.
Right, no, 110%. A whiteout, when we played in a whiteout, I don't know if you remember. Obviously, you remember. Todd Beckman. It seemed like it was maybe one of the last games that he actually started and played a lot. Smalley had a bunch of touches. We dominated. I think we didn't even punt that game. So again, one of those games where you be sane, took off, was controlling the line of scrimmage. We dominated that game. So again, you said it, I said it before, going to somebody's environment and shutting an entire crowd down. Can you tell the people just what that means? Like, how does that make you feel? What type of presence does that do for an entire team, not only for the game in particular, but for the rest of the season?
It plays a big part. I mean, the crowd always plays a big part. Especially at Penn State. They always have a very electric crowd. Younger crowd. Younger crowd that's crazy. They're gonna have the whiteout.
Right.
It's a night game. It's just gonna be live, man. So that's one of those crowds you got to kind of just shut them down, get some first downs, get a couple big stops on defense, get a couple sacks. Even get a couple turnovers. And if you realize the last couple years, special teams has been a big part of this game.
I didn't even talk about that. You're right about that.
Yeah, so special teams has been a big part of this game. So I think it's going to be major for those guys to play well at 3 phases. Special teams, offense, and defense. But just to go there and shut the crowd up plays a big part. To silence them, would be great. For us to get up early, put some points up on the board early.
Right.
Obviously, we know Penn State is a kind of like a second half team this year. So I think if we go in there, put some points up on the board, get that crowd quiet a little bit, I think we'll be good, man.
Definitely. I couldn't put it away. The way that you talked about, not only obviously we always talk about the offense, we talk about the defense, but the special teams. So to wrap this up in this Penn State talk, what is your prediction, man? Give me your score about this game. What do you think it's going to come down to, and where do you see both teams ending up after this particular game?
Oh man, it's so hard to predict this game. I'm gonna say Ohio State. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
Right. Okay.
Ohio State has a great offense. Penn State has a lot of weapons. They have a good quarterback. They got a good running back over there. They've been putting up some points up, and anytime how it is. Any team that plays against Ohio State, they're gonna play their best game or try to play their best game.
Always.
So, it's gonna be interesting to see how our defense plays. Us losing Bosa. Obviously, that's going to take a hit on us a little bit, but we got a lot of young guys up front who's going to step up. And, Ohio State always has that guy nobody knows of that's going to step up and be like, oh, man, he's making plays. Or now it's, we always had that guy. So it's going to be exciting to see who that guy is going to be. But if I had to predict, oh, man, I'm going to say –
you on the spot a little bit on the spot.
I'm going to say we're going to put up 42 to like 42-21 or something like that.
42-21. I take it. We're gonna match their score. There you go. That's where they're from. Boom. So taking it away, taking a little left, we're already going to keep in the football realm. Then I want to talk about what you got going on now in life. Tell us a little bit. It's a quick walkthrough about the NFL times. I know you just retired not too long ago. You went from a great team. You played at the Colts, and we always kept in touch. I remember we was on the sidelines. You was at the Bengals. I was playing at the Redskins. Tell our viewers a little bit about that avenue of your life and how that went and things of that nature.
Oh man, I mean, it was a dream come true. Obviously, I got drafted to the Bengals in 2012. It was crazy, man. Playing high school football to college football, then staying in Ohio.
That's dope.
Playing with awesome. The Bengals, man. It was pretty cool. Obviously, my family, was able to come see me play. Did a year and 3 weeks. Second year, I ended up getting picked up from the Colts. I went to the Colts for
now. How that work? A lot of people, when it come down to it, I tell people like I played. I said, hey, it was Pittsburgh, Tampa. From Tampa, I went to the Redskins. Yeah. Redskins, I went to San Diego. San Diego, they're like, dang, you bounced around. And for me, I know people who played on 4 or 5 teams in 1 year. So what was that transit? Yeah. Tell me about the mental aspect of it when it came down to you being at home, being homegrown, balling, playing well with Cincinnati, thinking that you got all the opportunities in the world, and then getting cut or however it happened and going to Cincinnati. What was that like, not only when it comes down to, just the avenue of playing ball, but mentally? What was that like for you?
Oh man, it's crazy, man. The NFL, man, can be a crazy business. It's just anything can happen, and you have to be prepared at all times. I mean, you could be balling one week, you could be cut the next week, or you could be playing better than a guy, and they might keep a guy over you don't know what.
Right.
You know, that kind of happened with me my second year in Cincinnati. I had a great preseason, played very well. We had drafted Giovanni Bernard and Rex Burkhead.
Right.
Which is two guys I got a lot of respect for. They having great careers, man. They still playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was that guy that got caught up in a situation where it was either them or me. And obviously, in this league, they want to keep it young. I was still young at the time, but they felt like those guys were doing something better than me. I mean, obviously, Gino went in with the second round, so. He was a given. Me and Rex, we had our battles. But, I ended up getting cut. They ended up putting me on the practice squad. Indy come and pick me up from the practice squad week 3 of the season, man.
And people don't know practice squad, bro. That is like the 5 foot in, 5 foot out. I tell people I'm a practice squad Pro Bowler. Like, nobody played practice squad as long as fresh, dog. I was on practice squad every year, but maybe a couple. I'm a practice squad Pro Bowler. So people don't know about practice squad. That's that other 10. That's that Rudy. You know what I mean? That's that Rudy from Notre Dame. That's that, hey, man, you got a chance. You got a shot. You in an internship. You're getting paid handsomely. I mean, to get $8,000, I'm in the corporate world now. So to get $8,000 for 17 weeks, I always kind of like shunned upon it back in the day. But, hey, I take that in a heartbeat right now. But, again, practice squad got picked up to coach. Man, I just had when you say practice squad, it gets me invigorated. So I had to talk about it.
Hey, trust me, man. I understand what you're saying, man. A lot of people don't understand about that practice squad, that grind, that time when it's crazy because the players who are starters, they be so mad because you going so hard.
Oh, my God. You got to go hard. Like, it's my job. It's my livelihood if I don't go hard. The thing about it, though, and you know how it is, Boom, it's like you got to know. You got to test the waters. Like, you got to ask questions. You got to know, like, hey, do I really go hard or do you really want me to temper down? You know what I mean? Like, you got to make sure that you're doing exactly. Like, I'm talking about nothing. I'm talking about it's 5-minute Trussell rule. Every meeting, if you ain't 8 minutes early, you like 5 minutes late. Practice squad, you pins and needles, but you're blessed. You have an opportunity and you grinding. So, no, well said, my brother. Well said. So, the Colts, man, I look at your Instagram. It's live. I follow you, and we always keep in touch through that social media. I don't know the gentleman name, but the guy who passed away, man, that was like a brother to you. I think he was like this, like a one number off. What's his name, man? What's his story, man? And just what did that mean to you? And how did that happen, man?
Zerline Tipton. He actually went to Central Michigan. He was he got picked up. He was a free agent, got picked up, came in, worked hard, man. He was on kind of like the practice squad thing, and then he had his chance where he came up, man. And me and him kind of became very close, man. And that's like one of my brothers, man. I kind of took him under my wing, man. It was just he had a freak accident. He was at the car dealership getting his car worked on. Went to the back of his car. I think he had one of his guns on it. And one of his guns, he went to go grab his bag. When he grabbed his bag, his gun had backfired on him and hit him right in the stomach, man. And they got him to the hospital and everything. And he was in surgery, and then he didn't come through, man. And that was just one of those things that really kind of it hit me hard because you know how it is, Doug. I mean, you could meet a guy that you play with, and you might not even know him that long, but y'all had that connection.
Yeah, you
y'all
resonate with him. Yeah, same thing.
Same
definitely.
Place. Even at Ohio State, man, I've met some of my best friends at Ohio State. Just because the grind that we've been through, everything that we've been through, blood, sweat, tears, man. It's the bond, and that's kind of what happened with me and Zerline, man. We had became close. We were obviously competing against each other all the time, but we were trying to make each other better. It was never, it was never anything like where I wanted to see him do better, or he wanted to see me do better. It was always positive, always keeping each other uplifted, and it was just a freak action that happened, man. And man, I miss my dog, man. I miss him a lot.
Keep him prayed up, man. He definitely tuned in. He definitely closer to you than ever, man. And I always seen that about you. I don't know the man in particular, but I know, what type of person you are. So as many times as you post him, as many times as you kind of just give him love on his birthday, on the day it happened during the football season, definitely just wanted to put that out in the air, man. And I appreciate the love that you have for your comrades and the love that you have for me, man. But, wrapping it up, man, blessing to have you on the show. Where are you going to be for the game, man? I know where you're going to be, but tell the people what's going on. Tell them your affiliation with the place that you're going to be at as well.
Listen, man, if you guys don't got nowhere to be for the game, on this Saturday, we will be in Hadley's. It's a bar. It's a restaurant, a bar that I invested in.
There you go. Get the address out, man. Put the address out there one time.
Okay. We're off 4th Street. Hold on, let me get the address for you.
Boy, you better have. Boy, you invested and don't know the address. Oh, you got money. Man, boy, I got a bridge I want to sell you.
Listen.
Man, that boy said I'm gonna get you the address in one moment. No, that's huge, man. Hadley's. It is off of 4th. You got the address, Boom?
It's off 260 South 260 4th Street.
South 260 4th Street. You can catch Boom. Who gonna be with you?
Man, I got. Hey, come on now, man. I gotta have my guy in there.
Who gonna be with you, man?
I hope come in as well, man. I got my boy Beanie Wells.
Beanie Wells, Hadley's. There you go.
Beanie Wells.
Y'all boys is thick as thieves, man. Y'all always together, man. I love that. That 330, UNO Boogie Snacks, all the old creeper. I love y'all boys, man. Robo down in Miami, y'all doing well. So Penn State game, you can check out my guy Boom at Hadley's. He just gave the address. If you ain't get it, rewind this one. Hey Jay, you had something for him, right?
Yeah, Boom. Hey, we hear all the time the horror stories of the things that Penn State fans say to you guys on the way out of the tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most creative thing that a Penn State fan had said to you? Do you remember anything that made you laugh or caught your attention?
Oh, man. It was, you know what, honestly, I was one of those guys. I kind of tuned all that stuff out, man. When I came out of the I was kind of locked in, but they always had crazy signs up, and people always saying all types of crazy stuff. Nothing that really stuck with me. But it's gonna be a crazy environment in there, man. So I'm sure Urban has got the guys prepared for it, and it's just gonna be one of those games where we got to come out and play our game, play Ohio State football, and not get caught up in the crowd, not get caught out in the whiteout. You can't get caught up in all that stuff, man. You just got to stay focused and go out there and play your game.
Oh, that's huge. One thing I want to touch on just briefly, because I might talk about it a little bit after my last few minutes wrapping it up. You played with the homie. You played in Buffalo. He just left Buffalo. And I have all the respect for a guy. What was your quick take on Vontae Davis a few weeks back and retiring in the middle of the game? 'Cause I know he was in Indy with you. I know you played at Buffalo, my home spot. B-Lo, what's up, 716. What was that like, man, mentally for you to think about a guy knowing how hard it is in the league? I know he made his bread and things of that nature, but to retire middle of the game, what was your thoughts on that?
You know what, Doug, I know a lot of people have, they were kind of disappointed in Vontae for that. They thought it was disrespectful, which is, I could kind of see where it was kind of disrespectful. He could have waited, but Doug, you know how it is.
100%.
With a lot of football players, the mental side, we don't know where that man is mentally.
100%.
Physically, he said he just felt like he couldn't do it anymore. So that might have just been one of those things where, he just couldn't do it anymore. I mean, the mental health is a big thing nowadays,
man.
And a lot of guys don't speak out about it. A lot of guys hold all that in, and he could have been going through something that morning, night before. Everybody don't know what he has going on mentally inside of him. So I don't think it's really fair for people. A lot of people look at it as football as just a game. It's not just a game, man. And like you said, guys are doing that for their livelihood. Guys are going through a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people people that they don't really even know about, don't understand. So,
well said. Well said.
you know, do I think it was right for him to do it how he did it? You know, I think he could have did it in a different way. Maybe could have waited till after the game or something like that. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you know, he was wrong or anything like that, because we don't know where his mental side was, man. You know, I think a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, Vontae played what, 10 years? 10 years in the league.
Something like that.
He might have been on the island. He might have been on the island out there, but man, getting hit in your head for 10 years plus, man, that's who knows what's going on up top, you know.
100%.
So,
well said. Well said.
I show nothing but love to Vontae, man. That's my guy. We played in Indy together. Played against him in college when he was at Illinois, man. I ain't got nothing but respect for him and his family, man. I'm praying for him actually, man, because like I said, not sure what he's going through, what the issue was, but that's nothing really to joke about, you know. That's nothing to really you know, downplay, because we're not sure what he had going on. But I mean, he could have did it a different way. But I mean, when you're going through something, man, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Check on your strong friends, they said, right? You definitely got to check on your strong friends. Hey, man, well said, my brother. Again, boom, I appreciate you greatly, man, coming on here, just talking about your piece, talking about what's going on now. Check them out at Hadley's. What's the address again, boom?
South 264th Street.
South 264th Street. Don't remember that he got money invested in it, but forgot the name. I mean, forgot the address. Hey, bro, I appreciate you. If I wasn't going on a tailgate myself, I'd definitely check that out and support you and what you got going on. But again, man, blessings to have you, bro. We'll talk. We'll do a lot. I can't wait to get up with you. God bless you, man. Said a family, I said hi, and I respect you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it, Big Dad.
Awesome. Thank you. Boom Heron, my brother, Hadley's. You can check him out, him and Beanie Wells, both some of the best to ever do it at The Ohio State University. We had a great show. Chuck Gresham, D1, extraordinary. The biggest thing about this take of this show, man, and we didn't talk a little bit about it. You know what, Jay? You at Browns, we got Flash going to the Patriots. We got guys on their last legs. We got guys retiring halftime. Mental health is at an all-time high, I think, in the world. I think just the way that you can have all this information. I'm literally streaming on 17 different programs. EBSN is giving me the platform, so it's a blessing. So to have these athletes, to have this mental health, I know I dealt with it personally. Depression, literally had to take things for depression, you know, different type of meditation, different type of things to get right with myself. You know, you don't understand. These guys are gladiators. They're football players. I'm a 6'6", 300-pound man. So every time you see me, every time I get somebody to ask me a question, it's guaranteed about sports. Either they think I look like LeBron James or they know I played football for years. So it's one of those things to have that mentally, that type of just presence of you're a football player, you're an athlete, that's who you are. To be able to break it, to be able to get away from it, to be able to kind of do something else in life or just get a second chance like your guy Flash is with the Patriots, it's a testament to the hard work and the know thyself. You got to realize that we're still human. We still have a bunch of emotions, and sometimes to have that type of responsibility, it can tear somebody down. So, hey, Jay, I appreciate you being on here with me, man. I know you got a couple things before we get off. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I wanted to shout out a couple of viewers here that are checking it out, and someone had a question as well.
Yes.
Alex Stafford, need Weber or JK to have a big game against Penn State. Thanks for checking in, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Caitlin Williams, Merriman, give us a thumbs up. Bonnie Griffin, awesome, go Bucks. And the question is from Eddie Cantu, I believe is the last name.
Eddie Cantu.
Does Mike Weber play his normal role with his banged up foot, or is JK going to take more of a lead, do you think?
Well, it's beautiful to have that opportunity, you know, to have a two-headed monster, to have two guys that can take it 20, 30, 40 carries on a game. I don't feel like if he's not 100% that we need to even, you know, press him too much. To give him some spells and maybe only give him 10 carries, 12 carries, have almost a pitch count for him would be good. So JK can do it himself. We've seen what he's been. We've seen how phenomenal he has been. That sophomore slump, that's another thing as far as mentally and physically. People kind of know who he is and his capabilities. They know how to stop him to a certain extent. But I look for J.K. having about 25 to 30 touches, over 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and some really good plays. So, hey, thanks for the questions. We got any more questions online?
No, just a couple other shout-outs. Gary Robinson, thanks for checking it out.
Gary, thanks.
And my old man, Bill Safranco, go Bucks.
There you go. That's a blessing. Hey.
One correction, too.
What's the correction?
I said Matt McGloin earlier.
Yeah.
It's Mike McQuarrie.
Mike McQuarrie,
Yeah,
right.
that's
McQuarrie,
it.
Penn State.
So,
again,
clarify that.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. It's been a blessing to do this show. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, as my guy Jay said, but you're here with Freshington. The Doug Worthington podcast. We still want your thoughts. Buckeyes and barbells, pup, physically unable to perform. That's me. Tore quad, bum shoulder, bum hip, but we making things happen. Can't play no more, but if they give me a check, I'll make it work. Hey, guess what? This is another show. This is a sign out. Jay, I appreciate it, man. It's been a blessing. Go Bucks. God bless. Hey, my score predictions, I'm predicting Ohio State 37-17 domination. And I feel like they have a little bit of a rough end. I think it's almost like TCU. It's a little bit rough in the beginning, being in Happy Valley, settling down. I think we figure out during the halftime and get the job done. You got anything more for us, Jay?
No, just I'll go with 45-35. I think it's a high-scoring game. In the end, I don't think Penn State can hang with our offense. A couple last shout-outs. They're checking out Jessica Renee. Great show. Go Bucks. And Gary Likens loves the Freshington.
Okay, there we go. That's a blessing.
Hell yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Go Bucks.
OH.
I-O.